One of the precursors, one of the foundational things to being able to take risk is to have had some kind of support from somebody.
There is no longer any acceptable reason why you can't get the mentors that you're after and start winning.
They've never owned a mutual fund, they've never owned a stock, they've never been millionaires, they've never been rich. What can they teach me about becoming successful in my life?
Rise and shine, it's Entspresso time.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee and sip on today's message from Jeff Bezos. Also, if you want to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The link to join are in the description below.
If everything has to work in 2 to 3 years, then that limits what you can do.
Stress primarily comes from not taking action. If you absolutely can't tolerate critics, then don't do anything new or interesting. One of the precursors, one of the foundational things to being able to take risk is to have had some kind of support from somebody. You have to have some mentors. You have to have somebody who loves you. These are the kind of things that build up and allow you to kind of, jump off into uncharted terrain and do something new because you know you have a support system of one kind or another. And I certainly did. So for me, I just want to point out that I feel very strongly that I've won a lot of lotteries. Amazon is one of the lotteries that I've won, but I had a big lottery with my parents. My dad is a Cuban immigrant. He came here when he was 16 years old, didn't speak any English. He's a great guy. And my mother had me when she was 17 years old. So she was a pregnant 16-year-old in Albuquerque, New Mexico in high school, which was not cool. And she made it work, and her parents, my grandparents, helped her with that whole thing and made that all work. And if you don't get that kind of support somehow, it doesn't have to be your parents. Sometimes people get lucky, it's a grandparent or it's a friend or a family friend or a teacher. It can be somebody, but you need that. Somebody has to step into your life. And that's a lottery that I suspect a lot of people in this room have also won, just like me.
There is no longer any acceptable reason why you can't get the mentors that you're after and start winning. The opportunities that are in front of you right now did not exist for your parents, and it's only getting easier. But you still have to do your part. You still have to reach out. You still have to want it. It's actually less about winning the lottery and where you came from, and much more about how badly do you want it and how much are you gonna put in to get after it. Because if you are willing to put in the work, you can beat out somebody with 1,000 times more resources than you. So every night I go on Twitch and I stream my League of Legends games, twitch.tv/Believe Team here. And there was a guy who joined me last night from the Philippines. So he's from the Philippines, and he says that his goal is to be a professional League of Legends player. And the challenge is there's not a big League of Legends scene in the Philippines. There's no professional teams. There's only one player right now named Smithy, who's a jungler. Where did he go? He was jungler for Team Liquid. He signed with a new team. It escapes me right now. There's one person who was born in the Philippines who's a pro player right now and makes his living as a professional League of Legends player. This guy joins my live stream last night, and he says he's a support player from the Philippines, and that's his ambition. He's gonna grind it out. He wants to get noticed. He wants to get picked up. He wants to be a professional League of Legends player. The crazy thing is, that's actually possible. It's actually possible for him to do it. It's actually possible for him to get training, for him to get mentorship, for him to reach out, for him to get in contact with people. Here he is. He's in the Philippines. I'm in Canada, and we're talking, and we're connecting on my live stream. It's actually possible. It wasn't possible even 10 years ago. Definitely not for his parents. You look at what his parents are doing, where they came from. You could have some dream, but at that time, the dream was probably just to come to North America, or just to have this one little thing that existed in the world currently, right? This limited mindset, because there were limited opportunities. But right now, the opportunities are insane. You have a thing called the internet. People didn't have it before. The opportunities are insane. You are competing against the world, which is bad for a lot of North Americans, but it's amazing for everybody who's outside, or amazing for anybody who's willing to work hard. It's not even bad for North Americans. It's bad for anybody who's lazy, who's slow, who's maybe had things handed to them. There's a lot of people in North America who had nothing handed to them, but they're willing to work hard. If you are willing to work hard, if you are willing to show yourself, it's never been easier to win. Justin Bieber got discovered on YouTube. You don't need to have a manager anymore. You don't have to go through the system. You don't want to, I got a publisher for my deal, but you don't want to have a publisher? Publishers reject you? Great, go off and self-publish. David Goggins did. Lots of people created #1 bestsellers just from self-publishing. You can bet on yourself if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to put in the effort. It's never been easier to win. And so I look at this guy from the Philippines, it might be easier for me, right? Me sitting here in Canada, if my goal was to be a professional League of Legends player, sure, it might be easier for me. Sure, I might have more resources. Sure, I could afford coaching and go to tournaments and meet people. But it's also never been easier for him because in the past, it would have been only available to me. Now, it's available to anybody. And if he has the heart and the hustle and the drive and the intention and the will to go off and do it every day, he can crush someone like me, even if I have 1,000 times more resources than him. And you can too. How? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process. So step 1 is find aspirational mentors. Find people who you wanna be like. Maybe they're from the same country as you, maybe not, maybe same background as you, maybe not, but they're doing the thing, or they have done the thing that you want. And learn from them. There's videos on them, there's books on them, there's podcasts on them, there's interviews with them. Learn from them, study them for 2 things. 1, just the motivation to know that if they could do it, you could do it too, right? Just the hope. This is why I started doing what I did in terms of modeling success and having these people, behind me on my wall, and why I do all these YouTube videos is because I wanted the hope, the belief that if other people could do it, I could do it too. I look at somebody who came with less, chances are the people who you look up to started with less than what you already have right now. And so seeing that they came from there and accomplished this thing makes me feel like I can too. It gives me hope. And second, it gives you strategies. You look at what they did and say, wow, this is what they did. This is the path they took. I can copy that. Success leaves clues. It won't lead you to all the way 100%, but if it gets you 80% of the way, all you have to do is figure out that last 20%. Because they took you 80% of the way instead of you figuring everything out yourself. I'm a product of learning from Jeff Bezos, from Steve Jobs, from Kanye West, from the people that I profiled on my channel. I'm a product of aspirational mentorship. I may never meet Jeff Bezos. I probably won't get the chance to work under him and be mentored by him and sign up for his coaching program, right? Probably not, but I can learn from him. I did in this video, and I've done so in many other of the videos that I've done on him too. You can too. Who has done what you want to do and then be around it daily. Number 2 is in-person mentors. You're looking at people who you can actually meet one-on-one, people who might be in your city, people who might be coming to your city. When I was doing my tour, people would come and meet me because they wanted to ask me some questions. Look at who's coming to your city, or maybe you have to go and do a 1, 2, 3, 8-hour drive. People came from Boston and New York to come and see me and interview me here in Toronto because they wanted the one-on-one access, right? Especially if you're from far away, people will give you more time. And so find out who has done what you're trying to do. Jeff Bezos may not be taking a meeting with you, but there's other people who've accomplished a smaller version. You're now talking about learning from the richest man in the world, one of the most successful people in the world. There's a lot of people who've done what you want to do on a slightly smaller scale who are way more accessible. Reach out. Say you're trying to do this one thing. You have one question for them, and that's the key. Don't go to somebody and say, will you be my mentor? Don't do that. It's disrespecting their time. Just say you have one question for them. You have one question, and then get the answer. Most mentees suck. Most people will come back then a week later and say, oh, I have another question. Like, don't worry, what happened to the first question? Did you do it? I told you to do this. What did you do? Like, oh, well, that was too difficult, or it didn't work out. Not acceptable. Not acceptable. If you get advice from somebody for the one question, it's the most important question for you, you have to go off and do it. And if it doesn't work out, if it works out, great, then come back and ask another question. Say, hey, I followed your advice. Look at what I did now. Now I'm facing this problem. Right? If it doesn't work out though, they might ask, well, how many times did you try it? And it better be at least 100. If you said that you tried it 2 times and it didn't work out, you're totally disrespecting their time. Don't be a sucky mentee. That's a brutal attitude to have. If I told you make a video and gave you feedback on how to make a video, and then you went off and you said, oh, it didn't work. How many times did you try? 3 times? I don't want to see you. You're wasting my time. Why are you disrespecting coming with another question when you haven't even taken the effort on the first one that was so important to you, right? Now, if you said, I did 100 videos, I recorded 100 videos and it still doesn't work out, I badly want this to work, then I'll take a look. I'll take a second look, because you're putting in the effort. The problem is, the mentor is putting in the effort, you're not matching it. Even though it might be only 15 minutes of effort for them, their time is a lot more valuable than yours right now, right? So their effort is not being matched by your effort. You need to match, you need to come up, and you need to put in massive effort, and then they'll want to help you again. So first is aspirational mentors, second is in-person mentors, and then the third would be online mentors. And these are people who you can meet even right now. You can meet me. I'm doing a Twitch stream probably tonight. You can go twitch.tv/BelieveTeam. Come join me. I do Instagram lives. Whoever you're looking up to, chances are they have some kind of live stream, or somebody in the industry has some kind of way to reach out. Maybe it's an Instagram DM. Maybe they're going live on Instagram. Maybe they're going live on YouTube. Maybe they're going live on LinkedIn. Maybe they have a way to ask them a question on Twitter, right? This hasn't existed typically, right? This is a new phenomenon in the past 10 years where people who you look up to, respect, admire, you can actually ask them a question and get a response, even though you may never meet them. I think about when I was younger, I loved the Toronto Blue Jays. I love the Toronto Blue Jays. And I love baseball in general. And so I would write to the different players on the Blue Jays as well as teams to ask for an autograph card. And teams would sometimes write back. And I remember the first thing I wrote back was actually the Texas Rangers gave me a signed Nolan Ryan picture. Nolan Ryan, Hall of Fame baseball player, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And I sent a letter to them and talking about why I love Nolan Ryan. And I don't know, a couple months later, they sent me back in the mail. I kind of forgot about it, but they sent me back in the mail this signed picture of Nolan Ryan. And it blew me away that they actually took the time to read my letter. Now, did Nolan actually read the letter? Probably not. He probably has a stack of cards that I've just signed, but it made me feel special as a little kid. But think about that process. I had to write a letter and mail it, and then a couple months later get a response. Now you can see people on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and you get freaked out when they don't respond to you. Well, if you only write one comment, don't expect to get a response, right? Be a known quantity. But the people who have the knowledge that you are after that can help you get to where you need to be are available. They've never been more accessible in human history. So how badly do you want it, and are you going to reach out or not? Now, we have a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I want to know who are 3 people that you need to go and start learning from this week. It could be the aspirational mentors, it could be somebody in person, it could be an online mentor. 3 people who you want to learn from and you're going to start making progress on this week. Let me know, put it down in the comments below. And if you're still here watching, I love you. I want to celebrate you. Give me a hashtag believe in the comments as well.
My parents raised me. A lot of my discipline comes from my father. I love my mom. I love my dad. I bleed David and Bogosian for the rest of my life. But my parents are not entrepreneurs. And they're not going to be able to convince me how to manage my money, manage my finances. They've never owned a mutual fund. They've never owned a stock. They've never been millionaires. They've never been rich. What can they teach me about becoming successful in my life? By the way, for some of you that are so connected to it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's insulting. It is not insulting. It is not insulting. My kids, let me explain. If my kid wants to be a professional baseball player, okay? If he takes advice from me on baseball, on how to swing the ball when he goes to the next level, there's a problem there. I didn't make it to the major leagues. He needs to listen to his coach. I can be a fan and tell him, hey, this is what A-Rod did, and this is what, Ken Griffey had a beautiful swing, but I'm just a fan. That kid better listen to his batting coach who was in a Major League Baseball. The same goes with business. Your parents love you. Your mom and dad are great. Believe me, everyone's parents are mostly great. They did their best with you. Not everybody has perfect parents, but most people have pretty good parents. They're not going to teach you how to become millionaires, unless if they did. If they did, take their counsel. If they didn't, scratch their philosophies for business. Go learn from somebody that made it.
If you want to know the #1 thing Jeff Bezos does for his customers, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Customers are very smart. You should never underestimate customers.